All right, Denver can feel like a really big place, and you may be a little overwhelmed with the amount of neighborhoods, the different varieties, which one might be right for you. Well, today we're going to break down 13 different neighborhoods and give you an overview of each, give you pros and cons of each of these particular neighborhoods so you can make the best decision on your move to Denver. Guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tim Campman, your host for Everything Denver, Colorado, where we talk about all things Denver real estate, including the best places to live, neighborhoods, and what people love about living here. So when you're thinking of your move here, hit me up at the information on the screen. Call, text, or email. I got your back on all things Denver real estate. And don't forget to download that free relocation guide linked in the video description below. And if you don't mind, help out the slowest growing channel on YouTube. Seriously, 95% of y'all ain't subscribed. Help a brother out here and subscribe to the channel while you're here if you find value. All right, so we're gonna break down 13 different neighborhoods. Starting on the west end, we're headed toward the neighborhood of Berkeley. Now, Berkeley is a really unique and trendy neighborhood known for having a lot of Victorian style homes as well as some urban and modern townhome style. You'll find a little bit of variety in here too with some of the Denver bungalows that are kind of traditional to the historic parts of Denver, but it's a very walkable neighborhood. This place is kind of well known for Tennyson Street, which is a local thoroughfare that runs right kind of through Berkeley, and it has a ton of boutique and restaurants, bars and cafes, local shopping, theater, galleries, all kinds of things. So it's a very cool place to hang out and a favorite of dog lovers across the state. Colorado is a super dog friendly state, so if you move here, plan on getting a pup. But Berkeley, for some reason, has a ton of dog owners and they love getting out and doing all the activities around town with their dogs. So when I think of Berkeley, I think of dog walkers and a friendly place for people to get out, have drinks, and take their dogs to the dog park. Now, home prices in Berkeley hover right around $750,000, so it does come with a little bit higher price point, but you are getting a pretty good sized square footage house for your money in the neighborhood of Berkeley. Moving just to the south, we're hitting the neighborhood of Sloans Lake. Now, Sloans Lake is home to Denver's second largest park and this huge body of water, which is pretty rare to find anywhere else in the metro area. There'll be other little pockets, but nothing quite the caliber of Sloans Lake. And this is a great park that people love to go and run around, hike, and just take a leisurely walk, but it's a kind of a hub for fitness enthusiasts, a great, 5K to run around the park here. And there are a lot of local shopping and restaurants and cafes in this neighborhood as well. So walkability is also pretty good in this area. Now, this neighborhood features a blend of some of the more historic homes, some lakeview homes. They're even starting to, tear down some of the old homes that are no longer, viable or habitable, and building some of these very nice, almost beachfront style properties with large decks that are overlooking the lake of Sloans Lake. So very popular place. The median home price is a bit higher here at $890,000, but if you're going to pay for mountain views and lake views, it does come with a higher price. Now, one of the downsides of Sloans Lake is it kind of butts up to the town of Edgewater, which is not known for being the best part of Denver. That is, a separate city. It bleeds right into kind of the Denver metro area, but not the best. Take that. So if there is a con to Sloans Lake, it is that one of the neighboring cities is not known for being quite the best neighbor. Now, as we move a little bit further to the east, to the interior of Denver, we find the neighborhood of the Highlands, or Low-High, as the folks call it down here. Now, Highlands, and particularly Lower Highlands, or Low-High as the residents call it down here, is well known for its being trendy and hip and having a lot of variety of dining options. So this neighborhood is also very walkable to local cafes and local restaurants. It does have a few local shopping options as well. In this neighborhood, you're going to find a lot of character, a lot of Victorian style homes, a lot of Denver bungalow style homes, and you will find some newer townhome developments as well. So you've seen these homes that have 3 and 4 levels. There's a lot of stairs. They kind of pack in a lot of homes into a smaller space, but these also have some of the best killer rooftop decks in the entire area. So if you're looking for something where you're going to have great views of not only the city, but also of the mountains, Highlands is probably your best bet for finding the best of both worlds. And median price in Lower Highlands right now is $830,000. As we continue our travels, we're getting a little bit closer to the interior of Denver, and we're going to explore the neighborhood of Rhino. Now, Rhino, also known as the River North Arts District, is kind of located right outside that lower downtown where you see all the tall buildings. This is kind of an industrial area that's been revitalized, and a lot of the original factories and manufacturing buildings have been converted into office spaces and urban lofts. So you kind of have an edgy, trendy feel to this neighborhood. Really, it's well known for its artistic vibe, and artistic in the sense of street art. You're going to find a lot of graffiti around this area. Now, when I say that, it's not all like trash graffiti and things you don't want to look at. There's some very nice street art and unique options in this area. So it is attracting a lot of young professionals to this area and a lot of people that are interested in the arts that might not afford or be the same vibe as a Cherry Creek. This area does also come with a significant price improvement over some of the others at $550,000 median price for a home in this area. Now, most of the homes are going to be either condos or townhomes. You're not going to find really any single family homes in the Rhino district. And downsides, it can be very noisy, and you will find some of the homeless problem in Denver congregating in some pockets of the Rhino area. And as we move even further into the interior of Denver, we're going to get to the hub, Lodo, or lower downtown. Now, lower downtown is the oldest part of Denver. It's really where the city started and then expanded and grew out from here. This is where you will see all of the taller buildings, a lot of corporate feel in this area, and a lot of high rises. So again, you're not going to find single family homes in this area. It's going to be a lot of condos and a lot of high rise apartment style living. And median home price in this area is going to be right around $775,000. I know that seems probably pretty high for such an urban area. You're going to have a smaller, square footage compared to having a single family home, but there are a lot of buildings where there are cheaper options available. You can very easily find something in the 500 or sub 500 range, but there's so many luxury lofts and luxury condos down here that does drive up that median price quite a bit. Now, this is going to be your ultimate in walkability. You're going to have buildings that have 24-hour security, walk right out to one of the local restaurants or bars or cafes. There's also, your grocery stores and everything you would need on a daily basis down here. It is the most walkable of any of the neighborhoods, but it also has the least amount of variety. Everything's going to be high-rise or, apartment style living. Not much variety in that respect, and a significantly higher price point for a smaller square footage home. Now we move just outside of Lodo to the area of Capitol Hill. Now, Capitol Hill, or Cap Hill as some of the locals call it, is just to the south and to the east of this Lodo area. So it's also very walkable and very trendy. It has kind of a vibe that attracts a lot of young professionals in this area. And you're going to find a big mix of single family homes and apartment or condo style living. Not as many row homes, but you'll find some of these historic mansions that they've actually converted into apartment buildings, or split up the different levels of the home into different living quarters. Where these mansions might have only housed one family 20 or 30 years ago, the developers have gone in and kind of rearranged the walls and the access points of the home to now you can fit 3 or 4 units in one of these particular homes. Now, I had mentioned this is also a very walkable area, so you're going to find a lot of local restaurants, bars, and cafes in this neighborhood, and you do have walkable distance to parks that you didn't probably have in the Lodo area or the Rhino area. So that is a benefit, that you're getting a little bit of both worlds, and you're getting quite a reprieve on the price being here versus in Lodo. The median price in the Capitol Hill area is right around $450,000. Now, this area, along with Lodo, do have the problems of the homelessness is kind of encroaching on a lot of the urban areas of Denver, so that is something to consider here. It gets less and less as you move a little bit further out from the Lodo and Capitol Hill and Rhino area, but it is something to consider if you are thinking of a move into this interior of downtown. Now, another unique thing about the Capitol Hill area is the streets are pretty narrow and parking can be an issue. Now, in Lodo, if you don't have a designated parking spot in your building, whether that be a garage or its own private parking lot, parking can be almost impossible to find, or you're going to be paying a fee to park your car somewhere. Now, Capitol Hill is going to have a lot more parking options available, but they're harder to come by and the streets are narrow, so it does make for a more congested feel. When you have all those cars and the mature trees and the tightness of the buildings and the homes that are in in this area, you kind of have a very congested feel in the Capitol Hill neighborhood. And number 7, we're moving out of the interior of Denver to City Park. Now, City Park just sits just to the east of lower downtown and Capitol Hill, and you guessed it, it is the neighborhood surrounding City Park. Now, this is an area that's going to feel a little bit more suburban than the others, a little bit more family friendly, single family homes on larger lots. And it's also very close to the Denver Zoo and the Denver Museum of Nature and Science. So as you move a little bit further from the interior areas, you're going to have a little bit more family feel, and you're going to have a little bit more family friendly amenities like the zoo and the museum. Also, the city golf course. And the median price for homes in this area is $745,000. And as we move just past the City Park neighborhood, we get to the neighborhoods of Park Hill. Now, this is kind of divided into North Park Hill and South Park Hill. Both of these are very family-friendly neighborhoods. They're neighborhoods with homes that are large and on large lots. These attract a lot of families moving into the area. So a lot of historic homes, historic bungalows, and historic Victorian-style homes you'll find in this area. Again, it's still close to the Denver Zoo. It's close to the Denver Museum of Nature and Science, but it's also closer to more parks and more local restaurants and cafes like you would find kind of in the Highlands. So this neighborhood still does have some walkability, not quite as good as neighborhoods like Cap Hill or Lodo, but they're going to be, bike ride outside your front door to one of the coffee shops or one of the restaurants in the area. And median home prices can vary quite a bit on the north side or the south side of the Park Hill neighborhoods. North side, you're probably looking at about $650,000 to $700,000 median price point. And if you're in South Cap Hill, where the homes are larger and the lots are larger, you're looking in that $750,000 to $800,000 range. Now we move a little bit to the north to the neighborhood of Central Park. Now the neighborhood of Central Park used to be the old Stapleton Airport. Now this is where Denver originally had its airport, where it was very convenient for anybody coming into Denver to land and have access to the whole city very quickly. And then we decided that we didn't like people visiting here and moved it out to the middle of nowhere. The Denver International Airport, I don't know why it's so far out of Denver, but it's very inconvenient when you come in here and you're 30 to 35 minutes outside of Denver. But I digress. The neighborhood of Central Park is very nice, and it's going to have a very subdivision feel. This is a master planned community, meaning the developers got together and laid out exactly where the homes were going to be, exactly where the trails were going to be through here, exactly where the parks were going to land, and where any retail space or commercial space. So it does have a very new feel. Most of this development is within the last 10 to 15 years, and they're actually still building some of the new homes out here. So it's one of the only places in Denver where you can still buy a home in a newer development. There is some pockets of new construction here and there throughout Denver where they have scraped some of these old historic homes that are no longer habitable, and they're building up new construction. But this pocket in Central Park is really your only spot to get new construction and to be surrounded by new construction. Now, median price in the Central Park area is going to be right around $790,000. That is for a single family home. There are some options for condos and townhomes available, and this is an area that actually is going to have more townhome options than most of the others. If you're looking for townhomes specifically, or that row style home where you're going to have 3 or 4 levels, the best neighborhoods to check out are probably going to be Central Park and the Highlands. Now we head to the south to Washington Park. This is one of Denver's most favorite and cherished neighborhoods. Historic. It has Washington Park right in the center of it, which is a huge space for people to go out and run, walk, play with the dogs, play volleyball, have a picnic. Really has almost everything you could ask for in a park. There's also ponds there. There's a flower garden that's maintained by the city. So very, very popular park in Denver. And the homes here are very, very desirable and don't go cheap. The median price for a home in the Washington Park area, or Wash Park as the locals call it, is $1.12 million. So you are going to pay a pretty penny to be in this exclusive neighborhood. Now, it's not a gated neighborhood or a private entry or a country club style. It's just become so popular, and the homes are significantly larger than most other neighborhoods in Denver that you will be paying a significantly higher price to get into this this neighborhood. Again, it is also a favorite of mine. My grandparents lived there for many years, and I remember my childhood there, walking to Wash Park with my grandparents and enjoying all that the park had to offer. But it is going to be quite expensive to get into this neighborhood now. And number 11, as we come to almost the end of our list, we're headed just a little bit further south to Plat Park. Now, Plat Park is also one of Denver's favorite historic neighborhoods. You're going to find a lot of Denver-style bungalows, mature landscaping, mature trees, wide sidewalks, and one thing that this has that is unique to Plat Park is the Pearl Street Marketplace. So just a local street here in this neighborhood where they have all their local shopping, local boutique shops, restaurants, and bars in this area, and favorite place to hang out on the weekend. They set it up for farmers markets during the summer and different events throughout the year, wine tastings, brewery tours, all those type of things. So it's very much a community feel if you move into the Plat Park neighborhood, and median home price for the Plat Park area is going to be right at $930,000. And number 12, we get to the neighborhood of University. Now, this is also going to be on the south end of Denver, and the best, landmark or thing that I could place in this area that'll help you remember it is Denver University. DU pioneers are actually housed here, and the DU Law School that is so popular and renowned around the country. So this is also a very exclusive area. A lot of historic homes, larger style Denver mansion, Victorian influence, also some Tudor style homes. So you'll find those kind of scattered around the Denver metro area, but here on the south side in this Plat Park and University Hills area, you'll find those are a bit more common. And median home price in this University neighborhood is right around $800,000. This area is very popular because it's part of Denver, but you kind of have your own community here. You have University Boulevard where you have a lot of shops and restaurants and local dining to experience. It is walkable. Maybe a short bike ride would be a little bit better. Not quite as walkable as, say, a Capitol Hill or Lodo, but it does have its own community feel and a suburban feel too, that you're not totally urban like you would be in a Lodo or say a Capitol Hill neighborhood, but it is nice to have kind of your own community and your own vibe here in University. And lastly, we're going to head just a little far north again to the neighborhood of Cherry Creek. Now, Cherry Creek is kind of what I would describe as the Beverly Hills of Colorado. It's very exclusive, a lot of high-end shopping and high-end dining in this area. It is walkable to a point. If you live in this area, you can get to the Cherry Creek Mall and some of the other art districts that are down here, the galleries that are down here, high-end dining in this area. And as a result, the home prices are also going to be a little more bougie to match the rest of the neighborhood. $1 million is the median price that you'll get in this area of the Cherry Creek neighborhood. Now, this neighborhood is also one that kind of quiets down when it gets later at night. You would think being in the city, you're going to deal with a lot of noise all the time, but if you're looking for a lot of nightlife, neighborhoods of Rhino and Lodo, Capitol Hill, and the Highlands are probably going to be your best bet for that. Some in Berkeley as well, but Cherry Creek has a little bit more of a professional corporate vibe to it. Artistic, but professional corporate vibe to it. If you ever saw the show Frasier, he would probably live in the Cherry Creek area. So there you have it, 13 neighborhoods in and around Denver, the good and some of the bad on some of them. If you're thinking of a move here and one of these neighborhoods stood out to you as a place you'd like to explore more, don't forget to download the free relocation guide I have linked in the video description. And don't be afraid to reach out. Call, text, or email, and we'll get you set up for success on your relocation to Denver. Until next time.